Everybody doing today? Awesome, thank you so much for joining us. We have a special day here. There's a movie that's opening this week, and I'm really excited about it because I'm a big nerd. Does anyone know what movie is opening this week? Star Wars Last Jedi. So we thought we would do a few Jedi-themed things here today. We have a very special show about the science of swordplay. If you wondered how Jedi Knights, or even real knights back in the day, would use math and physics to use their swordplay, you're about to find out about that. And then later on at 4 o'clock today, up in our science theater, we have a special effects artist, someone who actually makes those amazing things that happen in superhero movies, science fiction movies. And I understand he even did some things in The Last Jedi. He's here today to tell us a little bit about the math and the science behind what he does. A few quick things before we get started. This show has swords in it, really sharp swords. So you'll notice we have a red area at the front. That's what we call our danger zone. We want to make sure every part of your body is out of that red danger area there. Because it's red, some things with the swords might not show up against it there when it's all done. Yeah. Are you guys ready? Are you ready to learn a little bit about swordplay? Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Academie Duello!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Science World Center Stage. My name is Aaron, and this is Benjamin, and we're going to be spending a bit of time today telling you about the science of swordplay. And we're going to be talking about a couple of very simple machines that help us with swordplay. We're from the Academie Duello, just like Brian was telling all of you, which is a center for sword fighting here in downtown Vancouver. And some of you might be thinking, sword fighting? Why learn sword fighting? A lot of people think that sword fighting is a thing from days far gone, from ages of knights and ladies, and kings and castles and galaxies far, far away. And that's technically true. We don't go and fight wars with swords anymore. We don't do battle with swords anymore, but there's still a ton of really good reasons to learn how to sword fight. It's a lot of fun. It's really great exercise. It does wonders for your self-confidence. Ask Ben about how cool he feels right now. It also does a lot to connect us to ideas of energy and pressure and leverage, which is what we're going to be talking about a lot today. Who here in the audience has ever used a lever before? How many people know they've used it? Really? I think that's actually a really small number. Okay, so show of hands, how many of you have ever used a pair of scissors to cut paper before? Yeah, okay. How many of you have ever maybe played on a seesaw?
I think so.
Yes, good. What about opened a bottle with a bottle opener? I want to see way more adult hands go up than kids. What about maybe swung a baseball bat, or a hockey stick, or a lightsaber before? If you've done any of these things, you have used a lever. Archimedes was a Greek scientist who lived over 2,000 years ago, and he once said, "Give me a lever of sufficient length and a place to stand, and I will move the earth." He was the first to talk about the way that we can use the force to help move things. A lever is a machine, a simple machine, that lets us either move faster or act with more strength than we would have normally by ourselves. And that's kind of the magic word phrase for today. I'm going to say levers make us, and everyone to say stronger, because that's what levers do. Levers make us stronger. Levers make us stronger. Yes. Now we are here in the TELUS world of science, and I don't want you to just take my word for it. We are going to actually conduct a few experiments to try and get an understanding of levers and leverage and how we can use them to make ourselves stronger. To do that, I'm going to need volunteers. I need a volunteer from the audience. I need somebody. Oh, let's see. See this? Ooh. This one right here. Come on up. What is your name, my friend? Vincent? Nice to meet you, Vincent. My name is Aaron. Everyone give Vincent a big hand. And I'm going to need another volunteer, someone that's a little older, bigger, taller, strong. Yes, this lady in the back. Come on up to the front. Mind the tiny ones beneath you. They're really small. What's your name?
Robin.
Robin? Nice to meet you, Robin. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to find out which of these two people is stronger. And we're going to do this with the time-honored tradition of arm wrestling. Now, okay, Vincent, I want you to take a spot right over here. Robin's going to go across from you. Now, it's not science until we start trying to guess at what's going to happen. Who do we think is going to win right now? Let's get a round of applause for Vincent.
Robin.
And a round of applause for Robin. I don't know. Looks like it might be pretty even. Vincent looks kind of scrappy. So, since we need this to be good science, we need you both to put in a good, earnest effort. Both of you are going to try as hard as you can, and you're not going to fudge the results at all. Ready? As soon as I lift my hands up and say go, you're going to try and put each other's hands down. Ready? And go. Oh. Best 2 out of 3. Best 2 out of 3. Ready? Ready? And ready? Go. Oh, you got to keep that elbow down. Oh. Well, there we have experiment over. It seems like being bigger and stronger is the one way to get ahead of it when you're combating somebody. No, that's ridiculous. Stay around, stay around. No, you're not done yet, Vincent. I still need you. Now, we are good. So being bigger and stronger helps us when we're wrestling, but we can actually even the odds a little bit by adding in levers. Swords are levers. Let's talk about what the parts of the lever are. As we hold onto the sword, we have a few different parts. We have the effort, which is everything we're using to move the lever around. In this case, it's going to be our hands. We have the moment arm, which is going to be exerting our effort. We have the resistance, which is a thing that we are trying to move with our lever. And we have, arguably, the most important part, the fulcrum, which is where the lever rotates. In this case, it's my lead hand. We're going to hand swords to both Vincent and Robin, and we're going to set up kind of a sword wrestle. So Vincent, I want you to come over to the other side. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to set it up very similarly to the last action. So Vincent, you're going to try and put your sword down toward this way. Robin, you're going to try and put your sword right towards me. And you're both going to you're not going to move your feet, you're only going to use your arms, and you're only moving sideways. Don't try and poke each other. Ready? And who do we think is going to win? Vincent?
Robin.
Okay, let's try it out. Ready? And go. Oh, there we go. Whoa. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work quite the way we expected at all. It's not supposed to be sharp. Okay? Now, this was still just a contest of strength because neither person was using the sword like a lever. Neither person was really trying to get an advantage of leverage. The way that we can give ourselves an advantage of leverage is we can take the resistance and we can move it much closer to the fulcrum. This is going to do what? Levers make us good. Now that we've set up this leverage advantage, let's try it again. You're going to wrestle her down this way, and she's going to push you this way. Ready? Wait for it. Once I say go, you're going to try and wrestle. Ready, go. No. You got to keep your sword. Okay, let's try it again. Keep your swords right here. And ready, and go. Push her down. Nope, that's it. Push her this way. Hey! Well, now we're 1 and 1. Best out of 3. Let's see how we do it again. Ready? And we're gonna set our leverage up again. Nice, strong advantage. This way. Wait for it. Wait until I say go, and go! Oh, wait a minute. Push it. Yeah! Hey! Thank you very much, both of you. Let's get a big hand for both Vincent and Robin. If possible, I'd like to talk to both of you after the show, so don't run away as soon as we're done, all right? Very good. We give ourselves an advantage of leverage, we become stronger. With this advantage, we can beat somebody who is much bigger and much stronger than us. Levers make us Yes, yes, very good, very good. Now, sword fighting isn't just about wrestling and making mean faces at each other. We want these fights to stop decisively. The best way we can do that is we can actually apply some wounding force to the things across from us. Now we got two ways we can do that. What are the two ways that we can hurt someone with a sword? Who knows what they are? You can hit them with it. You can chop them. What else can we do? You can stab them. We call these cuts and thrusts, and we're going to spend a little bit of time testing which of these is more effective and seeing how leverage plays into this. Now, in order for us to test this, we need a volunteer that we can chop in half. Who wants to get chopped in half? All you kids putting your hands up, you're crazy. Your moms and dads will probably all be real sad if you got chopped in half. Looking around, hey, look at that. There's a volunteer. This is my friend Gordy. It's because he's a Gord. That's why his name's Gordy. Okay, a couple dad laughs. I'll take it. That's awesome. So here's what we're going to do. We want to make sure that we can exert force that's going to go through our target. As we do this, we're going to try to keep in mind that human skin is able to resist 460 pounds per square inch of pressure. For those of you that may not know what that means, if you can hold up 460 pounds on every square inch of your hand, you could hold an adult African elephant in the palm of your hand. Straight out like that. That would be amazingly strong. And here's what we're going to do. Now, let's take a guess at what's going to happen. I'm going to deliver a cut right into the top of poor Gordy. Who thinks that my sword's going to bounce off of Gordy's skin? Who thinks that? Okay, we got a couple guesses. Who thinks that I'm going to chop all the way through? Who thinks that I'm only going to get like halfway through? Who thinks I'm not going to do the whole thing? Okay, this is one of those important things in science. You got to make guesses. You got to make a hypothesis and test it. Let's test it out. Ready? And I'm going to use the sword like a lever because levers make us
Stronger!
Yeah, there we go. Ready? Went right through Gordy. Look at him now. He's all sad. Poor guy. So we've seen that the sword works. That the cut goes right through the target as we deliver. Now, let's make this a little bit safer for poor Gordy. Let's add some armor to him, because I know for sure that I don't want to go and get into a sword fight unless I have some kind of armor. The first type that we're going to use is cloth. Because everyone wears clothes. We've all got this little bit of armor on that protects our skin from the elements. Let's see if it protects us from this element of iron. Oh boy. So what do we think is going to happen now? We got to make a guess. Who thinks that I am going to deliver this cut and the sword's going to bounce away? Okay, a couple good. What about, who thinks that I am going to go and cut right through? I'm going to cut this like it's made out of tissue. Okay, well, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah. And...
I missed that one, I did it wrong. Thing that happens.
He's a Gordy. Poor Gordy. He's a Gordy. On the back. Gordy's getting killed.
Now. Oh man, no. Right back up on the stage.
Gordy.
So it looks like the sword went right through poor Gordy, but hey, look at that. The cloth is totally undamaged.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can see a little hole.
There's a little hole, but that didn't come from the cut. In fact, as the sword goes through and delivers a cut, the cloth actually wraps around the blade and becomes a part of the blade. Ready? Totally unharmed. Where we connected. Now this phenomenon has been known for a very long time in history. Plenty of people have used it. Most famously, the Mongolians did whenever they went to war. They would all of their troops would wear silk shirts. That's because when an arrow would hit them in their shirt, the arrow would get stuck in them, but it would wrap around the silk. And that would let them pull the arrow out and have their wounds stay a lot cleaner, keep them a lot safer as they did it. Now, we've tested out cloth, and I don't know about you, but it looks like it didn't work out super well for Gordon. He's just having the worst day. Let's do this. What's a sturdier type of armor that we can use? What's something a little stronger? What? Titanium, metal. That's a little bit too much. What else is that? Leather. Yes, we could use some leather. Let's try this out. Now, what do we think is going to happen? What's going to happen to Gordy? Am I going to go through the leather? Okay, we got a lot of guesses in the audience. There's only one way to find out, though. Okay, hands off, kids. Kids, pass it back up. So it looks like Gordy didn't get a big chop in him, but it looks like a big, ugly, good, gross piece of flesh came out of his head. We can show you on this side. Oh, look at that. Just a rough day for Gordy. What do we do?
Good job, Gordy.
So it looks like the leather does a reasonable job of keeping Gordy safe. Not a perfect job, but a reasonable. Now, but we still got one other type of attack that's available to us: the thrust. Now, as we deliver the cut, we're using this levering motion to make the sword rotate faster. As we deliver a thrust, we're actually putting our effort directly in line with the resistance. Effectively, the whole sword becomes a giant fulcrum when we thrust. It only takes 5 to 10 pounds of force from me to pierce through a human when I deliver these thrusts. It's kind of scary. Let's see what happens to Gordy with a little bit of leather armor and my thrust.
Poor Gordy. Gordy. He's gonna die.
Oh. Hey, wait a minute. Hey. Looks like Gordy ran away from my thrust. He was a little scared of it. I don't blame him. That sucks getting hit like that. We have a problem though. If the resistance isn't stable, if it doesn't stand still, it's hard for me to get all the way through it. How do we defeat this? Well, we have to force the resistance to stop running away. And then we are able to go straight through all of their armor and crush them. So they're just making a mess out of the whole stage here. Now we have seen how we can use our attacks, how we can apply this force, and how we use our levers. What do levers do? Levers make us But what's harder than leather? Because it looks like I still managed to get through. Metal. Oh gosh, there's so much metal right there.
That's iron.
What we're going to do, we're going to take this sword and we're going to see what it does to my erstwhile opponent. Don't worry, Ben's a trained professional. What do we think is going to happen? Am I going to chop Ben in half as I cut through him? No? Maybe. I don't know. Only experimentation will tell. Am I going to bounce off of him?
Yeah.
Am I gonna cut through him a little bit and get stuck like I did with the leather? No. Hey, I don't know. Let's find out. Ready? Here we go, Ben.
Oh, scary, no!
Ben is unharmed, even though the sword is very sharp. The armor does its job. The armor keeps Ben nice and safe. Partly because it's harder than all of these other things, but also because of the way that it's constructed. You can see that everything is all round surfaces, so that as I try to deliver a thrust, it just bounces and kind of skips off of Ben's equipment. Doesn't do a whole lot of anything. Besides that, Ben probably doesn't want to get hit by the armor. So Ben's able to just kind of roll with these punches so that I can't actually deliver it and find any good force against it. The constant struggle throughout much of history has been the struggle of how we are able to make better armor to defeat people's weapons, and how we can make better weapons to defeat people's armor. Let's see what my options are right now. I can't just hit him. That's only going to make him mad. If I use this force against Ben, this mighty Dark Lord is going to use a bit of force of his own against. So I got to use my force in a different way. I've got to try to use my force like a lever in order to deal with my opponent. Ben goes and delivers his cut. I'm going to catch him. And hey, look at that. I get to use my sword like a lever. What do levers do? Levers make us... From here, I can toss my puncher down to the ground, trap him, and now that the resistance has no place to move, I go straight through him. Right in this weak part of his armor in his armpits. Everyone, let's give a big hand to Ben for being such a good sport right now. Thank you everyone so much for coming out to join us for this presentation on the science of swordplay. My name is Aaron and this is Benjamin, and we're both from the Academie Duello. We're located downtown right by Hastings and Homer. Come out and visit us sometime. And if you want to, we're going to be around here someplace at a table telling people all about what we do. You can also come by our studio and try classes for children or our summer night camp. Thank you all very much. Have a nice day, and may the force be with you.